As you make your way into the brand new look of the Pushkar Center, the biggest thing that's going to hit you is right here in the Hall of Traditions. In fact, Shane, it's become a focal point. You can drive down Don Nehlen Drive and look through the window and see the massive television screen. This is a huge move because, unfortunately, the old construction was this building was in the back, this facility, and as a result, fans didn't have access.
Yeah, so when we started with the architect, Tony, one of the things that I first wanted as part of this building was the Hall of Traditions in the front. And that's kind of what we started building this whole project around, was moving the Hall of Traditions to where it is today and having our artifacts, different interactive activities that we can show fans. But it was important. So before on game days, we couldn't open up the Hall of Traditions, and now we can open up the Hall of Traditions on game days to share with Mountaineer Nation.
In the history of this building, it's pretty amazing. I think fans will really enjoy. There's some spikes over there from the old days of Mountaineer Field. My goodness, could you say the gear has changed a little bit?
The gear has changed. And looking at the artifacts over here to my right was still the leather helmet. The artifacts and different things that's in this building will really talk about the history of Mountaineer football, which is really important from early in the 1900s all the way through 2021.
It's a place you got to check out when you make your way into this building. You know, Shane, one of the biggest things I think that folks will get the sense of when they make their way through here is that this building has just become so much larger than it was. I mean, you've got space. Kind of give us a little bit of an insight as to what the thought process was here as the construction began.
Well, I think the biggest thing was making it functional. For our student athletes, there's a rhyme and reason to everything that we look here. This hallway is very important on the recruiting trail for our student athletes to talk about, the student athletes we have in the NFL, having all the helmets that's listed, the teams, and under there, the players we've had from West Virginia that's been part of those programs over the years.
It gives you a huge wow, doesn't it? When you do start to take a look. All the teams represented, and then you start looking at teams and the names. There's a lot of sales that are going on right there, isn't it?
Well, that's important. A lot of the young men who come here, their dreams and aspirations is to be able to go to that next level. And that's part of what, we're trying to develop the total student athlete. And this is part of it. It's to say you can come to West Virginia, you have a chance to go to the next level.
All right, so you get the feel, you make your entrance through the Hall of Traditions, make your way in to see those that have excelled at the highest level. Now, the biggest thing, the student part of the student athlete experience. And Don Nehlen always used to say, you know what my graduation rate is? Every single Mountaineer that wanted to graduate. And the table that is set back here for them, it's perfect.
Yeah, it is perfect, Tony. And this footprint really did not change from what it was before. We have the study hall that's here, our academic area for the computer labs are over there as well. This has just really received coat of paint, change in ceiling, a little bit new carpet, new tile, but the footprint stayed the same.
All right, so technology is really neat. So right now these windows are frosted, but with the flip of a switch, they can become completely clear. So who has that? Well, the head football coach. Let's walk in. Since he's not here, we're taking over.
So this is really where we flipped it. We started out with the Hall of Traditions. This is the footprint it was in. We moved the coach's office back here. Again, used for recruiting, to be able to have a nice office overlooking Mountaineer Field. This becomes his family suite. This was here before, so this was a solid wall down through here. So we kind of incorporated the two to be able to pull this glass. Again, that glass can be frosted with the touch of a button. So on game days, if he has recruits, parents of recruits in his office, he can kind of push the button, frost the glass, kind of be separated from the people that he's entertaining in his suite, his family and other people.
Well, everyone knows that the biggest thing that a coach does is meet, and meet. So the head coach doesn't have too far to go. This came out really nice, didn't it?
Yeah, this is where all the game planning occurs. Actually, got guys in here working.
It doesn't matter if the season's on, they're still talking
They're still talking. We have all the whiteboards, video, in game planning, you need everybody in the room, offense, defense, you need your analyst, everybody in here. So that's what this gives us, the opportunity to bring the full staff together and talk about the ideas and plans and what we're going to do from day to day to on Saturdays.
Perhaps one of the biggest things that Neil Brown has brought to WVU is the fifth quarter program, which takes Mountaineer student athletes and prepares them for the time when the athlete part of it is over. And pretty much this whole side of this building now is dedicated to that type of work.
Yeah, this is what we're calling, our fifth quarter hallway. It talks about the career development, the leadership development, the real life, community involvement. So all this comes together, and this was a big thing that Neil wanted to focus on, and there is life after football. That's something that we talk to our student athletes or prospective student athletes when we come in, is saying, you may not have that opportunity, or even if you do have the opportunity to go to the NFL, it's not a very long time you're going to be in the NFL, but you're never going to take away that diploma, that degree that you've earned from West Virginia. So what can you do above and beyond that? Right. And that's where this staff helps our student athletes prepare for life.
We started off in the Hall of Traditions. That's all opened up by glass. This area as well. This is the other end of the Pushkar Center. And Shane, you guys did a really nice job here with just this remodel to open things up as we get ready to go into the team room.
Yeah, the team room was finished in 2015, but this area here was some walls, and we wanted to open this up. Some neat things here. We have, again, a college game day set that showed back in, I believe, around 2014-15 when game day was here.
Everything tells the WVU story for perhaps those that may not be totally familiar with it.
Well, and that's kind of the whole purpose of the building, is to be able to tell our story. It goes anywhere from, starting in this room, and this, as I mentioned, Tony, was finished in 2015, but this is the team room. This was phase one. So if you look back and you start looking at, the different phases as this building, progressed, this was the first phase, kind of the anchor here, and then to anchor it off on the other end as we started out was the Hall of Traditions.
The evolution of the meeting room has gone through about a 180 in this building, and we're standing right now. This is just the offensive meeting room. You guys have taken what was once the entire meeting room and you've chunked it up. It's got a pretty interesting concept. Meet as a big group, right, and then break out into small groups.
Right. So really what we have the big team meeting room that all the team can meet in there. Then you can break out into offense, defense. As you said, we're sitting in the offense. It was important for us to have theater type of seating, to be able to have contact with our student athletes, coaches standing up front, being able to address the whole offensive unit in here, and then as opposed to having the previous surfaces that we had, which was not theater style, and you really couldn't see the guy in the back of the room.
Yeah, and as a player, one of the all-time great accomplishments you could have is to get your picture on the back wall or to get your stats on there, and that serves as great motivation for the rest of those guys.
There's some great Mountaineers on that back wall.
We'll take a few of those any day. So as Shane was saying in our previous stop, you start in the big offensive room and then you break down to your individual position groups. This one happens to be tight ends and fullbacks, and then your individual coach will come in and you can work right out of here.
Right, everybody can go into different position rooms, and that same theory applies for the defense. So we have a defensive room as well.
Chances are, if and when you make your way into this building, you'll go like, wait a second, I'm kind of displaced as to what I know used to exist. One of the reasons why is, if we could take a look, if you go down that hallway, that was pre-existing. Now, if you do the full spin, Shane, all of this is new. You've added additional meeting rooms, individual offices.
We have. So this area right in here is a new footprint that kind of extended the building more out towards the closer to the parking lot. So it gave us some extra square footage, which we needed for the coaches' offices down this hallway.
Well, obviously, as we said earlier on, recruiting never stops. And when a visit actually takes place, there needs to be a place, kind of almost like a lobby or a waiting room or a relaxation room, because they're meeting a lot of people, and this is the recruiting room.
That is the recruiting room. So a lot of people in the TV business call it the green room. We call this the gold and blue room. So this is kind of where they're waiting, the parents and prospects. You just showed the hallway, what that means. They're in here, and their next visit is in individual coaches' office. So this gives them a place to be able to relax, play some games. There's TVs, all that while they're waiting to meet with coaches.
This is a really neat addition to the facility. This is an easier entrance toward the locker room and the weight room.
Yeah, this takes us down here to the players area. So, we look here, we have the Nike relationship, partnership we have with them. And, it takes us into the players lounge area, also takes us into the locker room area.
The players are here for such long periods of time that you need to have basically every comfort of home.
You do. So the whole rationale behind this building is once they get into the building, obviously to be able to eat, train, which will go through the weight room, academics, everything's under one roof. So it's the efficiency that we tried to create. So you don't have to go across campus for this and another building for that. So you come into one building, everything's under one roof.
So as we said earlier on, players are here, can be here for 12, 16 hours at a time doing schoolwork, eating. Got to have a place to take a nap to get ready to go to practice. This is the official sleep room that actually has stars in the ceiling to put you out.
Not only that, Tony, you can get more darkness by being able to be shut in. This is the Jetsons. Remember the Jetsons?
Oh, I like this.
So now you're in the darkness and in relaxation stage.
We talked about the concept of being multi-purpose in this building. So you can eat, train, you can sleep because there's nap areas, and step into the barber chair. Now there's no designated barber, it's just like team barber, like players say.
Yeah, no barbers, but it's team barber. You'd be surprised some of the work that gets done in this area, but what to say, you look good, you play good.
All right, field that away, entry back in toward the locker room this way. What does every house have when you walk into it? You gotta have a mudroom, right?
Gotta have a mudroom. So this is kind of where they start coming off the field. This area right here, you notice the dark walls, pictures on the wall of family. The back wall, you'll see family. What this is, they got this idea when they visited one of the coal mines, and before you go down the coal mines, they have pictures of your family. Instead of carrying all the grime from the field in, this is where they start to undress, and instead of undressing in the locker room, so you see here, there's places for your shoulder pads, there's places for your shoes, your helmet, right here. This allows it all to be aired. This is all air filtered, it's dried out. Then normally in here you have bins for the rest of their clothes. So these things don't even go into the locker room, Tony. This just allows the student athletes to start getting undressed here and keep all the stuff that's wet, stinky, all that into this bin. Yeah. So once you're down to this point, you just have your Nike shorts on. You get to this area right here. So that is the car wash. So it's coming out of the ceiling, washing down, spraying out of the sprayers. So all those little rubberized pellets get down into the grate area before you walk into the other part of the locker room. And the thing that the players love to hate is this next step is before you go into the showers, this is a cold tub. I think it's about 55 degrees. And they got to spend, I think, 8 to 10 minutes in this cold tub as part of their recovery before they get back to the shower area of the locker room. So then this takes you from this area, again, not into the locker room yet, now you're into the shower area. Again, talking about all the design efficiencies, instead of now going through the locker room all wet, now you're into the shower area, you take your shower, and then that leads you back right here into the locker room itself.
Dump your towel off,
get your
you're
towel
back
bins.
into your house.
Now you're back into the locker room itself.
Earlier on, we showed you the cold tub pool. Now you make your way here to hydrotherapy, and there's multiple pools here that, again, didn't exist in the past. They have been added over the last period of time to make a world of difference, huh?
Yeah, it makes a world of difference, Tony. May be a little bit hard to hear here, but again, you got 2 cold tubs. One's a little bit colder than the others, and then you also have a hot tub here, and then you have tubs over here. One's hot, one's cold, and that's really if you just have an injury to the ankle or the lower extremity that you don't have to get your full body.
All right, so we've shown you areas where the Mountaineers take their gear off, but they got to get their gear first. We're inside the Mountaineer equipment room, and it's like super duper fancy, right? Spin and look at the gear out. Jerseys in here as well.
We have all the jerseys in this next one all the way down. This is kind of really where it starts. I mean, you got to have the equipment to start the day, and then they have their each individual cubbies on the other side. That's where they come to their locker area, pull that stuff out, and then you have all this area down through here. Again, storage for various things. We're revving up the footballs here. These come a little bit more slick. I think everybody's bought a new football, has a little bit of oil. We take that off. These guys do a great job. Use some shaving cream, rub it on there, let it soak in, kind of moisturizes the leather, but also takes the oil away.
Just when you thought you'd seen everything, no, you hadn't seen anything. This is they call it the engine room. And so just kind of take a look around here. We've got gold bicep wraps. We've got white bicep bands. We've got white double wide, you name it, we've got it. We've got additional helmets, coach's cold weather gear, coach's wardrobe. It's
back on the back, white socks, gray socks, helmets, face mask. It's, as they said, this is the engine.
And on road games, these trunks, all on wheels, everything gets loaded, and you literally use a moving van. Full tractor trailer is what it takes to move the Mountaineers.
Yeah, takes a full moving van, and that thing's packed to the gills. It normally leaves like on a Wednesday, arrives at the site on Friday of away game. These guys show up when we land at the away site. They go, first thing they do is get off the plane. They go to the visiting team locker room, start unpacking it all, get it ready for Saturday morning. And then the whole process after the game, they're throwing everything back in. It gets back loaded on the truck, and the truck usually arrives back in Morgantown late Sunday night. This is our recovery. Mike Joseph is going to come in here and explain what the purpose of some of these things are. So Mike, right here is looks like a tanning bed. So exactly what is this?
That definitely is the first description, first analysis from everybody is a tanning bed, but basically it's light therapy, photobiomodulation, helps endurance, helps recovery. A lot of guys that have long-term injuries actually help with the rehabilitation time. So one of the better things guys hit before practice, before lifts, as a good recovery to get the repair for the body. Cryotherapy is obviously a liquid nitrogen that is helping to cool external layer of the skin. Now it's causing a fight or flight response for your body. We're in here for 3 minutes. Guys wear gloves, socks, boots, and to protect their fingers, their toes, their feet. The biggest thing is it helps with also sleep, repair body tissue, but it helps with that vasoconstriction of really getting blood flow. Now our float is actually, we have 2 of these. Obviously we have float rooms, and these tanks are about 10 inches deep. They have about 800 pounds of Epsom salt. Obviously you have the natural healing process of Epsom salt, but we're trying to get sensory deprivation. So a lot of our guys are dealing with anxiety, school, travel, practice, a lot of things going on. So it has 0 pressure points. So it allows you to fully relax, be completely weightless. Usually, again, like I said, most guys are in 45 minutes to an hour. 2 or 3 times a week is probably the most guys need to get in here. But really, when you get out here, you're very relaxed, very recovered. And really the next day is when you really feel a difference in how your body recovers and how you feel.
All right, as we put a wrap on this, we've made our way throughout the majority of the building. Where does West Virginia now fit among the teams that it competes against in this regard as far as facilities go?
I think without question, Tony, we're definitely in the top third in the country with facilities. Again, our footprint may not be as big from a square foot than some other buildings, but just the access to those various areas, we're right there on top. We're investing in Mountaineer football, and that's what's important. Everything that we're doing has a purpose, and from a prospect, you show them that we're serious about the development of the student athlete across the board, athletically, academically. That's what we're trying to show our athletes across the board, not only in football, but all of our sports, that we're serious about Mountaineer athletics and where we're heading in the future.
Appreciate the visit.
Absolutely. Let's go Mountaineers.